Well, now you find me by the back door again. Going to do a walkabout. It is June 15th, and we're going to inspect the garden and see what's growing on. Since I was lowering the vegetation with the line trimmer, I decided to avoid cutting down any of the strawberry plants. As far as I know, these are wild too, but they're right by the back step. And there's strawberry plants pretty much all over the garden. I said, I'll wait at least until the fruiting season is over. I might be able to get a significant harvest of wild strawberries. So that's why I left them there. Columbine is a wild flower, so once you got them, they'll self-seed, and you'll get them growing all around them, pretty much like a weed. I had taken up that portion of the deck, and I mean, those boards are ready to be put back down. It's just that I haven't gotten to it. And with the sun being able to get down here now, you can see a lot of quote-unquote weeds are sprouting up. Most of them, you see, you got strawberries, there's pansies, 3-4 different colors of pansies. In here by the deck, there's more columbine. So most of it is actually plants that one would want, just that I really don't want them there. Now, when I put the boards back down, they may just die back down. I don't know. Right on cue, it was, I think it was 5 days ago. It might have been only 4 days ago. But the leaves opened up, and at the same time, you get the flower buds. Now, there's 3 bunches right here. See, this would be 3 bunches of grapes. But I'm looking over this now, and boy, there's a lot of bunches of flowers coming on this. So even though right now I have just this little bunch here, and of course up there I have the other grapevine, I'll be getting quite a few grapes off that. I'm hardening off the cucumbers and squash vines that I have that are big. Got the other ones in the house. This being a mint of some sort, actually, let me smell it. No, this one is lemon balm. There is mint here though. So let's walk through. Of course, this is Italian oregano. And once I get to it and can get the grass out of it, this is a big patch of Italian oregano right here. But you come over here, I got a little bit right there, and you got that there, and that up there. So there's no shortage of oregano. Here's more over here. No shortage of oregano here. So in here, you see, there's chives. The chives looks a lot like grass, as you know, so they're hard to see. There was about a 3-4 foot long strip of chives right there. Now we're over by the little old shed that was built probably before I was born. You see, this one has a darker, different leaf. And there's more of a mint smell to it. It is not your straight mint, but it is some kind of mint. Can't say I like mint straight off. You kind of gotta make a tea out of it. I mean, the texture of mint leaf, those mint leaves, I'm kind of gotta make a tea or a tincture out of it. The clematis, I don't know if they were starting to send out their flower buds on the last garden walkabout or not, which was, here we've got them, right there. So they are just starting actually. Earlier I thought that these were the flower buds, but that's just an extension of the growth. It's those up there that I just showed you that are the flower buds. I was looking this one over earlier today and I don't see any buds, flower buds showing up. I don't have it recorded, I don't think, when they showed up last year. I can check. Oh, here's one right here. So that's the first one I found. So the buds are just coming out. All of the tomato plant transplants have been put in, but I recorded that, and I'll make a separate video of me actually putting in the tomato plants. However, you can see that the lilac is in full bloom, and boy does that give off the strong aroma. Beautiful bush that is, growing along. No sign of beetles on this snowball bush. But the flower inflorescent buds are coming along. Now, there's some kind of fungus showing up on. You see? Don't know what that is. It's on quite a few of them, but it's not something that I would say would kill the tree. It's just showing up on the leaves there now. Of course, this is the other tomato bed that we'll talk about, and you'll see when I'm planting out the tomatoes in that video. I haven't gotten around to cleaning this out yet, but here's our I think that's called it's Liatris. Yeah, it's Liatris Blazing Star. Of course, pansies growing here. You see them, I leave quite a bit of them in this bed. We go along the outside. Now, is there buds on this one? This is a called a climbing rose. Not seeing any right now. This is the Roman oregano that I moved down here, not the Italian. Even though it looks a lot alike, the Roman one is much shorter. And this is more daisies. This is not the same daisy that's growing up by the house. I'll key out what exactly kind of daisy that is when it opens up its flowers. Columbine. Now see, this is the younger columbine, right? They're perennials, and they just get better and better every year. I mean, look at this one. It's a really beautiful bush on the bottom, and it's sending up all those flower stalks. So they're coming along just beautifully. And these big leaves here, that's the echinacea. I don't know if all the echinacea come back this year, but this one is doing really well. I don't have many of the bunching onions coming back well. This one's doing well. And maybe I'll collect the seed from it this year and see if I can start some more. This, while it's really tall, the plant itself is still small, the combine there. And I planted the oregano in here, you see. That's where I planted it, and it just grew out through the fence. Now, what I want to say about this rose bush, and maybe I'll say it again, but rose bushes, they grow up as single canes, and you keep them really 4 years, and then you cut down the cane and let a new cane grow up. Climbing roses, when I done my Google search, they have a prima cane, they grow up a cane, and then the next year they send side shoots, and it's on those side shoots where all the flowers come. So if you look at this one, you see this is a holder cane, so I should cut that out of there this year. But last year it had a ton of flowers up here, eh? So if I cut that older cane over, and this is a newer cane, I can tie that then back to the fence. Like I tie it over like this, and then the side shoots would shoot up vertical, and I'd have a wall of roses going along the top third of that fence there. Once again, back to the other grapevines. As this one is producing any flowers? Doesn't look like this one is producing flowers this year, but it's coming along nicely. Then we go over to the other side of the pine tree, and we have this one, which it's only little bunches, but they're there, in with almost every set of leaves. It has a little bunch of flower buds. Here's another nice noticeable one there. So I'll get some more grapes off that one this year. See, a lot of our herbs, they don't need really great soil, eh? They'll get themselves established and get their roots down to where they're getting the nutrients eventually. And this one, what's this, 3 years old, or is it 4 years old? But you remember I planted it there, and then the next year was hardly anything at all. And then the next year it grew a little bit and a little bit. So it's coming on, it's getting pretty big now. I mean, this is only June 15th, so this one might grow up to the top of the fence again this year. And the same thing goes with the St. John's wort this year. It was small for the first couple of years, but it's coming along, getting itself well established. Now see, sometimes things are going to make the videos longer anyway, because I've got something interesting to show you over here. I didn't know that there was a native elderberry here in Newfoundland. But I walked over here the other day. Now, I got a pair of shorts on, and I'm trying to not get myself stung by stinging nettles. And I realized something. You see this one? Okay, the flowers are gone now, which is kind of a pity. I might have taking the picture. I can't remember if I took the picture or not. But this one has the similar white flowers to elderberry. But it's more in a kind of a cone shape. But you see this, so this is a leaf. It's called a compound leaf, and these are leaflets. So we've got two sets of opposing leaflets, and then the terminal leaflet, making 5 leaflets in all. And I was standing here, and I looked up there, and I said, wait a minute, that's not the same plant. Now, how do I get past them stinging nettles without getting myself stung? Just stamp on weeds, right? First off, you'll notice how the flower inflorescence is just almost flat across the top. And they're not even open yet, actually. But now if I were to take a leaf, this is what I've got. Much smaller leaflets, and there's 7 pairs plus the end, making 15 leaflets per leaf. That's your showy mountain hash, or if you're over in Europe, of course, you'd call them rowanberry. That's what the rowanberry or mountain ash looks like. And the other one is red elderberry, which apparently is native, or at least well established in Newfoundland. This Romeo cherry, that blossomed really well this year. Now the blossoms, I mean, most of them are still holding on, so I don't know if we'd be able to see if anything is growing yet or not. But come the next walkabout, I'll be able to show you whether or not these actually produced berries. Finally, I mean, like in the last couple of days, this smoke bush, and as you see, if you were here last year, you'll see it does come out as a beautiful bronze colored bush. But as for flowers, might as well forget it. Her Juliet cherry hasn't produced anything yet, and of course, I don't know how long I'm going to have to wait for the pears. This is coming along, of course, your got the name forgot now of that shrub, so I'm going to go on. Anyway, yellow flowers again. St. John's wort can spread like nuts if you let it. That's exactly what it's doing. The Hella campaign is coming back nicely, eh? I mean, look at that one. And this one here. Big, huge leaf on that one. And another one up there. They're coming back nicely. I have a maple tree in there. I want to try and get him out of there and transplant him up in the forest. Interestingly enough, look at how well the strawberries are doing. And the strawberries are doing wonderfully well. But now back to love each. Love each plant that I planted there. It's still a puny little thing. But strawberries, I mean, even in among the St. John's wort. So the strawberries in this little patch are doing exceptionally well. Wonder if there's any rosebuds, any flower buds on here. Looks like we got one here just starting to open up. Of course, there's another one. Yeah, there's quite a few flower buds coming on this rose bush. You just lower the grass. It looks really nice coming in here, eh? I don't know how much I'll get to work with these two beds this year. Hopefully I can get the clover out of it. Dandelions, they're not hard to pull up, really. I think I'm going to leave the bachelor buttons in there for now, because they are not hard either to pull up. They basically just reseed themselves, but once you get to actually want to get rid of them, they're not too difficult to pull up. Check the pond. I think it might have went back down a little bit, but if I have that up very much more, see, this is what I'm thinking about now. If I have it up very much more than that, then it'll start to flow out across here. So I have to think about how I'm going to actually do it so that any overflow still goes out down the ditch. And when we have rain, I mean, that is still muck down there. So I could still put another pond, quote pond down there. I don't know how much water would be in it, but during the wet periods, it would have quite a bit of water in it. You may have heard that if you plant Jerusalem artichokes, you'll always have them. I mean, I thought I'd gotten everything out of there last year, but no. Now, I had one meal of Jerusalem artichoke, and I quickly found out why they got their nickname. So technically, I'm not going to be eating very many of them, but they are a beautiful flower, and their biomass is useful too, right? I can cut them down in the spring and grind them up for compost or mulch, but they grow up into a nice tall, what looks like a sunflower. I wonder if I should let these see how big these dock grow, if I let them tend to, because there's just a few there, and they kind of look nice there now. And rather than trying to put more work on myself than I have to, let these grow for a while and see what they look like. This might be a good place to actually test to see what dock would actually turn into if they were cared for. This one had a lot of blossoms on it this year. Once again, the blossoms are gone, and I can't find any growing berries. That's not to say that there's none on there. It's just that, I mean, when they start, they'll be little tiny green things that you really can't see among the leaves anyway. So, but right now, I can't find any obvious berries growing on it. So I got the line trimmer out the other day, and I did trim down most areas. So we got our fox willow right there, and the other willow up there, which is it a valley willow or is it a mountain willow? That's quite the opposite, isn't it? But anyway, something like that. I did find out what it was, and I'm going to have to just find out again and maybe put a sign beside it or something. This is an utter frustration over here. So I got the dandelions all out of it. See, I got a whole bunch right here. And I think I want to get this bed filled up and actually do something with it. It's really the only raised bed I have right now. But you see, that one, it's live and growing. Now I got all these other ones. They're not showing any signs of life yet. And like, what's up with that? It's supposed to grow down to zone, or be hardy down to zone 3. That's plant hardiness zone, not Canadian hardiness zones. And I put the tarp over it, as you might know. So I was like, why didn't they come back? It really don't make sense. But now I got to go around. When you start growing your own seed, you never know where something's going to pop up. That is a parsnip plant that's going to go to seed this year. Which, of course, means next year there'll be a whole ton of parsnips growing in there. And as I had the line trimmer going, and I came over here, lowered everything down around the mulberry tree. This is the red mulberry that looks like it's going to do beautifully once it gets itself established. I tore some away from the spice bush because I think the spice bush should grow there. I mean, it looks healthy. It's just not growing. So I keep that back and so that the sunlight can get at it, and maybe it'll take off. And I had to find out, see, this is something else that, I mean, I don't know how fast a birch leaf pear is supposed to grow. I'll check into that, and how old it should be before it blossoms. And that's the other thing, but there, looks healthy, but not growing very fast. See, this is another one of those willows that's over by the well. This is what you get off it. It's not like the pussy willow that's so everybody knows about around here. It's a different willow altogether. Did I have another tree right here? Right now I'm not seeing it, so I'm just going to forget about it. Pixwell gooseberry. I need to give it some more attention. It looks like it's a little stressed. Not overly. I mean, it'll live, but it does look stressed. Once again, still not looking like a common pin cherry to me. But we will get to see. And yeah, there's quite a lot of those around here. Ladybugs. So we'll get to see this year if that is a pin cherry or a bigger cherry. Whichever it is, there's another one just like him growing up right there. And then that's the damson tree, which is looking better this year than it did in previous years. Probably because I was keeping the grass cut down around it last year. And I've got a bunch of cut down there, so it looks nice. Just skim it over it a little bit, eh? I don't have to keep it cut down, mowed, manicured like you would with a lawnmower. Just take the line trimmer and just make a rough cutting over it, and it looks nice. Full bloom. That's a beauty. Not something that's growing overly fast. I guess in time that'll get to be a huge bush. No blossoms on this yet. We're still waiting. So I did cut some down here, just enough that I can just walk in through, right? Just make a walking path, and because I want to be able to come up and look at this sugar maple. You see that one up there? It also is a 15-leaf bush. It's the same as the other one that I showed you over there, the 15 leaflets per leaf. So I've got to figure out, that's what my memory's telling me now. This one is your dogwood, which the berries, they're not sweet. I tried them before, and I mean, they're edible, but, and if you, like I say, you can make syrups out of them and everything else. It's not a berry that I would be eating right off the tree. And the other one is an elderberry, and if so, the berry should be sweet. It is one that you would eat right off the tree. This Romeo cherry here, it put out some blossoms, and there's only a few left on there now. The petals are falling. There's a green lemon thyme down here. And this Myra Bland cherry plum did have some blossoms on it. Gonna put it all in one video, he says. Yeah, good luck with that. I was doing the editing and I put it in one clip at a time, and I'm up to 32 minutes. So I said I better cut it right here and put the rest in the second video. So we'll have a two-part walkabout again here for the middle of the month. So thank you for watching, and in the next video we'll continue on to the main gardens and the back forest. See you then.